Good morning, lovely people. I hope you're all well today. It's the beginning of October. Where has that time gone? I don't understand. It's just disappeared. I still feel like it should be June somehow. But amazingly, we've got a beautiful day today. An absolute lashing storm last night, but now the sun has come out and it feels like it's like the last gasp of summer. I always find October, it's a bit of a funny month. It's the biggest change in the garden since April, I think. You know, in the spring and sort of end of March, beginning of April, the winter stuff comes out, the beds are prepared for all the new seeds and new little plants, the structures go up, the bean poles, the pecans, what have you, and it's a big change, and it gets us all ready to be excited about the whole new growing season in the allotment. And October, in a way, it's kind of the reverse. You know, we've had all those structures throughout the summer, we've had that burst of lush growth in July and August, and through September everything's starting to fade and we're harvesting, and then we get to October and suddenly the garden feels kind of empty, but there's still lots going on in the garden. I do love this time of year. I think it's possibly in the whole year, it's actually one of my least favourite months, because it is quite an adjustment from that kind of gorgeousness of summer and autumn to now short days, and just getting my head around how the garden, it's going to be a very different approach during the winter. But there's so much going on still, so let's go and have a little walk around the garden and see what we're up to. And this is how sunny it is at the moment. Someone is having a little sunbathe. Are you right there, buddy? He's had a feed, so now he's having a sunbathe. Oh, bless him. So like I say, we're so lucky that I don't know where this weather has come from. It kind of makes me feel like sitting back and doing nothing. But like I say, there's still quite a bit that needs to be done in the garden. In a way, it's like October is, for me, it's like a big final push. Like we have that big push in April, I have another big push in October, and then things will really calm down. And when I'm coming to the garden, sort of through November, right through to the end of February, it will be mostly for harvesting, yum 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 yum, but then doing other things like any sort of building work. So finally, hopefully, I'll get that blinking deck and fence done, and maybe do some more tinkering in the shed, hopefully. So like I say, a final bit of push in October. And morning, sir.
I ordered some plant labels, but they're very heavy.
They're big labels as well, or is it for big plants?
I've got a feeling I might have. Do you know when you buy something and you think it's only a couple of inches?
Yeah.
It's big, so it'll be interesting. So tune in and find out.
I'll be popping over later to have a look. Enjoy. You see, you can tell it's a nice day because other folk are out too. So, not much change here. I'm still keeping the lovely cosmos going by deadheading. And I'm amazed, I'm still surrounded by so many bees every day. It's absolutely lovely. The stock, which I sowed at the beginning of this year, which shouldn't be out till next year, has decided to flower already. Isn't that gorgeous? So a few more flowers for the bees. Actually, I'm not sure if bees like stock. I will find out. I was given these seeds, so I thought I'd sow them anyway, but normally I would be looking for seed that's the butterflies, bees, birds, etc., are going to enjoy. I cannot wait to get my chops around the first few parsnips. So if you remember last month, you can just see the stumps of them in here. I cut all the calendula right down. They'd gotten really massive, so rather than pulling them out completely, I didn't want to risk disturbing the roots of the parsnips, so I've just left those little stumps in there. And then finally on the end there's a few of the calendula left, which you can see are forming their seed heads now. So I'm regularly gathering the seeds. I actually gathered a load of seeds yesterday, so all of these ones are still a bit green yet. We'll let them go over a bit more, but there's still a few flowers coming, which is lovely. The chickpeas have had another mashing in the wind, and finally they're starting to look like I can harvest some of them. Actually, these ones down here can be harvested. So when they get to this stage, when they're all brown and dry, I will have them out. I'll start harvesting them and start the long process of podding. When I come to harvesting them, I will show you how I do it, because it's really quick and simple. I don't know if you can make out on the soil, there are a few empty husks down there. Yes, the mice have been enjoying them as well. But never mind, there's still plenty for me. And there are still flowers coming on them. Amazing. And next door, if you remember, I've got 4 rows of broccoli, and they were getting massive, and they were actually pushing the cloche nets off. I need a big one for here. And I was absolutely out of hoops, nets. I was out of everything, so this is an absolute mishmash. Look at the state of it. I've got some debris netting. This is a bit of borrowed Enviromesh from someone else. I've got some pea netting. Anything to try to keep the pesky butterflies out. And I did notice, try not to trip, there's one beauty in there ready for me to take home for my tea tonight. Yum, yum, yum. They're really starting to develop nicely now. You can see there's another one there. Actually, they're all starting to get their little heads developing. And another one, can you see it through there? So, as I said, what I will do with this beautiful big Bertha over here is I will chop its head off, but the plant will stay in, and then it will develop little extra florets coming off the sides, and I'll have those. And then when they're all done, I will have the leaves and eat the leaves. Now, I've slightly backed myself into a corner here. Which way should we go? Let's go this way, detritus. So this morning, I've had out, let me step over here. Going flying. So this morning I've had out my potatoes, because I need to get this bed ready for the garlic now. I've just had them out. I'll give it another tickle over to find any strays, because there are bound to be some strays. But there's a few of them having a little sunbathe at the moment to help them cure. But some of them are coming out. They're whoppers. Look at the size of that. That's a meal for 2. I don't eat a huge amount of potatoes. I probably only have 1 or 2 of these big ones each week. So they are going to last me for ages. And like I say, I've left them out in the sun, which is, trying to tiptoe through them. The sun has now disappeared, of course, but just leaving them out in the sun will help their skins cure even more. Yay! I might have a baked potato with some broccoli tomatoey sauce in it tonight. The celery is still going great guns for me. It's been a great crop this year. I will definitely be overwintering them if I can. A little bit more stock that, like I showed you with the others, it shouldn't flower till next year, but that's growing away nicely. And now the celeriac. I'm so pleased with how these are looking so far. They've really fattened up. Oh my goodness, I've just seen number 1 enemy in the background. Right, you need to have a little drink of beer, mister. They've done really well. I was pretty nervous about doing them, not sure what to expect, but they seem to be going great for me, and I'm so desperate to have one out. Now the only thing is, in the back row, let me just show you the back row, they are considerably smaller, and I think what's happened is where the flint corn is here, I think the flint corn has basically stolen a lot of their water. So they've really struggled to get to any size. You can see, look, just compare those two. So this row, I think the lesson learned is for next year, I have to get the flint corn much further away from them. But they're flint corn is still going, great guns. So what I have been led to believe by folks who are experts in this is that I need to leave them on the plant to dry for as long as possible. Actually, I did take one off and have a sneaky look the other day, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, so I'm going to leave these as long as possible to dry on the plants. Then, once they come off the plants, they'll have a bit more drying before I even think about popping them or using them to make flour. It's been such a beautiful plant. I've absolutely loved it, as you all know, because I keep going on about it. Yeah, all the winter stuff is in and growing away nicely. That's the purple sprouting broccoli. It's doing great guns. The carrots are massive, and generally they are chucking themselves out of the ground. Can you see that? Look, it's ridiculous. I keep whoops, I just dropped my glasses. I keep earthing them up, but they're still chucking themselves out the ground. I'll pull one or two out, and they last me all week because they're so massive. And this is the Savoy cabbages. Again, they're all looking absolutely beautifully healthy in there. They're not hearting up yet, but that's fine. They, you know, they only went in a few weeks ago, and they've got all winter to do their thing. And I'll really look forward actually to the end of the kind of cabbage white season, because then I can get all this netting and mess off, because I really want to actually see the plants. I love the sight of the plants. So yeah, I can't wait to get rid of all the nets and actually see greenery on the pot again, instead of all this, like I say, mishmash of nets and nonsense. So that's all kind of pretty much how it's been looking for the last few weeks anyway. Not huge changes. Obviously the potatoes did come out to make way for the garlic, but then this is now where we really start to see the change. Look, it's a big empty field. What's going on? Oh my goodness. So these beds will pretty much not have anything in overwinter apart from the green manure. This bed in this front end, I'm going to plant the broad beans in a week or so that next year this will be my bean bed, but I'm going to do the taller beans towards the back, because I think where they were last year in this space, the broad beans were followed by the coco de Pampol, which I think had too much shade from the climbing beans, which were all here in front, and didn't do so well as I hoped. So they're going to go the broad beans here, followed by coco de Pampol, and the tall beans can be in the rest of the top of the row. Hey Rost! So yeah, just literally only field beans, and then here at the front the Cavallo Nero, which again, if you remember when I put these in a few weeks ago, were spindly, pathetic little things, and I was saying, don't worry, they'll come good, which they have. And then finally, this little bed on the end, I'm letting all this cosmos go over now because I'm saving it for seed. Let me just, the seed isn't really ready yet, but I'll just try and show you in here. Oops. Can we see? It's almost there. Whoopsie. So I'm going to keep an eye on the weather, keep an eye on the seed heads, and when we've got some nice dry weather and these have ripened a bit more, I will gather for next year. But in the meantime, let's broadcast them. So this bed was new this year, and I had it for the climbing baby butternuts, which didn't really get to much size, but I think it was because I was in a bit of a hurry, and by the time I'd managed to get it dug over, I had to get the plants in without really any muck being added. So the plan over winter is to get a load of muck onto here and let the worms do the work in the winter, so we'll have a nice, hopefully good fertile bed for next year. I'm not sure what's going to go in it yet. I will decide later on. Look, I've still got some sunnies. Oh, and they're gorgeous. I've got a ton of heads at home drying now for seed for next year. Oh, I can't wait. And I'm now going to have to show you something. I had a bit of an accident, and let this be a lesson to all of us. In the cold frame, can you see a load of shattered glass? Oh, I'm gutted. Basically, a couple of days ago I was strimming the path next to it, and there must have been the tiniest of stones, and the strimmer flicked it up. It went straight through that pane of glass, which is toughened. For a split second, the whole pane hung there, shattered, and then dropped with such an almighty crash. I mean, look at it. So I've got to get that all cleared up. And I haven't got any money for a new pane of glass, but what I was thinking is one of the panes from the end there, to take that out, to put it on the side, and then at the end I can just put a piece of wood or a piece of, I don't know what yet, but I can just block the end up, because I don't really get light coming in from that side anyway, so that's what I'll do. But it's kind of a lesson and a reminder to all of us about just being really careful when we're strimming. You know, I wear glasses, so I don't bother to wear safety goggles, but seeing that yesterday, I thought, my goodness, would my glasses save my eye? Yeah, that gave me quite a bit of a fright. Didn't enjoy that at all. It was just the noise and the noise of the stone going through the glass. It was horrid. So yeah, hopefully, nothing's happening. I just haven't had time, but that's what I say. Another big push through October. Get the broad beans in, get the garlic in. The field beans will start growing away, and then everything can just relax a bit, and I can start to think about finishing painting the shed, finishing the shelves in the shed. But the reason I'm bringing you back to the shed now is, let me just reach in here a sec, because I want to show you this. So I got really impatient. This one was obviously a bit deformed. This end was sticking out the top of the cob. I don't know if the colours will pick up, but the colours were just starting to form. Can you see that? Greys, blues, some raspberry pinks. I did this a few days ago actually, so it's quite faded. Let's see if the colours show up better if we're in the shade. Look at that. So this is glass gem, flint corn. This was seed sent to me from Michelle in North America, and I'm loving it already. So if I get a number of cobs of a decent size like this, I'm going to be absolutely chuffed to bits. Yay! Oh my goodness, I can't wait for the harvest. So I think over the next 4 weeks, apart from the other things I've got to sow and put into the garden, and apart from the little building projects and what have you, now it's all about harvesting the chickpeas, harvesting that gorgeous corn, taking a deep breath and relaxing a bit, and of course starting to think about next year's plan. I can't wait. I've already got quite a few ideas of how things are going to be, but I'll start putting things on paper. I'll start making drawings, half of which will change before I actually start sowing next year. So much as it's a beautiful day, and I'd like to just sit here and take it all in, I'm going to get back to that potato bed. Oh, here comes the sun again. Give it another tickle over, so I can find any randoms that were left, get it ready for the garlic, and do some other bits and bobs. So for now, I'll say cheerio. Happy October to you all, and happy taking a deep breath month and enjoying the bounty that you've got stored at home. I'll see you all soon, I hope. Take care.